Before I start, let me go ahead and check my audio real quick. Let me see. Give me a few seconds. Let me see. My my broadcast isn't even showing up on my. It's not even showing up on my stream right now, so I don't know if I'm live or not or what. But anyway, if I am live, I'm gonna go ahead and start it off with the Memphis Grizzlies are looking or listening to offers for Marc Gasol and Mike Conley. Which, if you ask me, I think it's a good move because Mike Conley and Marc Gasol, while they are not at the end of their careers, they're definitely getting close. And I always thought that it was better to trade a player too early than to trade them too late. So that way, if you trade them a little bit too early, you can still get some type of value, um, and possibly something that could help your team. Um, Conley is 31, and he's a very solid point guard. I believe he's underrated. For his career, he's averaged 44% from the field, 37% from three, and he averaged 14 points per game, which isn't bad. And he averaged about 6 assists, which is not bad for a point guard. And in the playoffs, he averaged 41% from the field, which isn't great. He also averaged 31% from three, which also isn't great. But considering the fact that majority of the time he was that team's best weapon, outside of Marc Gasol and Zach Randolph. Back in the day, when the game was a little bit, I don't want to say it was slower, but before it became just fast break, 3 and D game that it is now, Gasol and Randolph, when he still was there, that was the Grizzlies' kind of go-to offense. But then as the game started to speed up, Mike Conley became that go-to guy, and he never really had. Once the game changed, he never really had a go-to second star to go with him. I'm not saying Conley is a superstar, but no matter how good you are, you still need some help on the offensive end. Somebody who can get their own bucket without having to have a play ran for him. But as far as defense, this year, Mike Conley has been pretty solid. He's averaging, he's allowing 43% from the field by whoever he's guarding, which isn't bad. Um, so I think they can definitely get some type of value shopping Mike Conley, and Marc Gasol is pretty solid as well. If I just give me a few seconds to pull up his numbers, I know he's developed that three ball, which is can help teams spread the floor, and especially him playing the five, that's definitely going to be um, a big help to some teams. And it's looking at his career, he averaged 48% from the field, and he just started shooting threes really in 2016, and from 2016 all the way to 2019. 2016 he averaged about 39% on 4 attempts. 2017 to 2018 he averaged 34%. In 2018 to 2019 he's averaging 35%. And he's for his career he's averaged about 15 points, which is not the greatest, but for a big man it's solid. And he also a pretty good passer. A lot of times they'll put him at the high post or the low post, and um, he has a pretty good vision for a big man. But just looking at his defensive stats, he's allowing his opponent to shoot pretty much 50% from the field, which isn't great at all. Um, but he is 33. And he's never been the most athletic guy. So he is kind of closer to the decline, to his decline than um, Conley. But I believe he still has some value in today's NBA. Is he a starting big man? I would say he is. Um, but I believe now he's more of a, he can't be your second or third best player on the championship team. He has to be at least your fourth or your fifth, in my opinion. But with Jaren Jackson showing his potential, I definitely think that the Memphis Grizzlies are making a really good move. And with these, possibly if they trade him, they could definitely bring in some young talent to help Jaren Jackson get this team up and running and hopefully back in the playoffs. Um, Let me see. I had something else I wanted to talk about. I'm just trying to pull up my stream real quick. It's still not showing. Let me see. So something I thought was really funny is that the Saints their fans are filing lawsuits and they're trying to put up billboards in Atlanta. So by now everybody should know about the missed call that the Saints that happened in the Saints game against the Rams. It was definitely one of the worst non-calls ever in football history. But there's been bad calls, pretty much every playoffs. But angry fans have been reacting in various ways. They're trying to do lawsuits. They're trying to put up billboards in Atlanta. I'm even hearing about some restaurants are not going to be broadcasting the game, the Super Bowl. I'm trying to read the article right now, and it's saying that fans are trying to get Roger Goodell to use his power to replay the final 1 minute and 49 seconds of regulation. They're trying to get Roger Goodell to make the Rams and Saints play again for 1 minute and 49 seconds. And some fans are renting billboards where the Super Bowl is going to be held. Wow. Wait, this is Matt Bowers. So Matt Bowers, he owns a bunch of car dealerships. Wow. And he say he's going to try to bring as much attention to the bad call as possible. I mean, I'm looking at some of the pictures. It's saying NFL blew it. Saints got robbed. We were robbed. I mean, at this point, the game is over. I mean, I understand you're upset, but there's really nothing you could do. The Saints had multiple opportunities to win the game in overtime, and it just came up short. Sometimes that's just how the dice roll. The best thing they could do is just try to get ready for next season and try to move on. But it definitely was a tough blow to that team. But it is what it is at this point. Um, so the Mavericks and Luka Doncic and Dennis Smith are having a little bit of drama. Dennis Smith is saying that he wants more playing time and he's left the team, and Rick Carlisle had to talk to him and basically tell the media what happened and basically tell um, Dennis Smith through the media that we want you here and stuff like that. But Dennis Smith had time to broadcast and show the world and show the Mavericks what he can do. Um, Let me go ahead and pull up the stats. But from what I've seen, Dennis Smith is not the most efficient player. And yes, he hasn't been in the league long. I believe this is his second or third year. Let me go ahead and pull up the stats just to verify. So this is actually his second year. In his first year, he shot 40% from the field and averaged 15 points. And right now, in his second year, he had a little injury. Been battling a few injuries, but in 28 games this year, he's shooting 44%, which is better. And he's averaging 13 points. And he's shooting 37% from three, which isn't bad. But it's only in 28 games. Last year he only played 69 games, so I definitely need to see him play at least 75 games. But him and Luka are pretty much playing the same position. And if I'm the Mavericks, I tell Dennis Smith, hey man, Luka's better than you. So it's either you're gonna play your role, but he's too small to play anything other than point guard. He's 6'3", and Luka pretty much plays point guard for them. So they really can't be on the floor at the same time, I don't think. But if I'm going back to his 2017-2018 season. He wasn't that good on defense. He allowed his opponent to shoot 47.3% when guarded by him, and he only averaged 5 assists last year, and he was averaging 4 assists this year. Not saying he had that much talent around him last year, but the team just seems to flow better when Luka is demanding the ball. In 45 games, Luka is shooting 43% from the field, 37% from three, and he's averaging 20 points. And if I go to the defensive stats, Luka is pretty bad on defense. He's allowing his defender to shoot 48%, but he's 6'7". So even if he never becomes a great individual defender, he can at least be a solid team defender. And he's pretty much a point guard. They both need the ball in their hands. Not saying they can't play off the ball, but they're at their best when they have the ball in their hands. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Mavericks started shopping Dennis Smith, or if they're actually shopping him right now. If I'm the Mavericks, I mean, if I can, maybe I make him a 6-man. But for this team to be, or see their to reach their potential, Luka's going to have to be, well, he is the franchise guy. He's going to have to be the primary ball handler. And if I'm the Mavericks, I might shop Dennis Smith for a 3-and-D guy. Exactly who that guy may be, I'm not sure, but Um, I think that would definitely be a good move for them. They already have Wesley Matthews and Harrison Barnes, but Harrison Barnes, um, from what I've seen, is not the best spot up shooter. I want to go ahead and pull up the stats to check that real quick. I've been watching the Mavericks every once in a while, and every once in a while Harrison Barnes might get hot, but on average he's not that good of a three-point shooter. Even though this year, wow, this year he is shooting 39% from three on about 7 attempts. So that's actually really good. So I actually take that back. And he's averaging 17, pretty much 18 points. He's shooting in 42 games. He's shooting 40% from the field, which isn't that good. But from three, he's also shooting in 39%. Pretty much round that to 40% from three, which is very good. And for his career, he shot 37% from three. So I take that back. Harrison Barnes is pretty solid from three on average. So yeah, if I'm the Mavericks, I'm either shopping Dennis Smith or I try to convince him to be the sixth man. Because Luka has to be, it will be the go-to guy for the Mavericks.